Hello and welcome to Goa 365's Story Behind the Story. We have not been on air for some time because we had difficulties due to the cyclone, technical difficulties, internet issues, and we've been concentrating for some time on the actual sickness, the virus, the COVID. So now, as the lockdown, the first stage or the second stage of the curfew or lockdown, whatever you call it, is ending, I want to speak to two of my friends, Nilesh Shah from TTAG and Manoj Kakulo of the Chamber of Commerce. Nilesh, Manoj, welcome. Nilesh, I would like to start with you because tourism has been the worst hit. The service industry has been the worst hit industry for the past so long. Now, what if you could give us the status of the tourism industry as of now, and then we can take it forward from there. Nilesh.
In fact, most of the hotels are right now closed. The few hotels which have started, which are are basically which they had a long-term guest or people staying there for work purpose in those hotels. But overall, the last lockdown, what had happened, people were more anxious to come to Goa. Now, the way situation and way media has projected about the things in Goa, it is like a standstill. Nobody wants to come to Goa. In fact, it has turned to reverse thing. So it will take a while before actually the numbers starts coming into Goa. So presently the situation is like everything is at standstill. You'll be surprised, even the flights are cancelled. Like last time, more flights wanted to come into Goa. Today, of course, this is all India now scenario. Most of the flights into Goa, even from Mumbai, are cancelled on certain days. Basically, to give a statistics for the airline wise, there are hardly around 20-25 flights operating of Air Asia, or 20 flights of SpiceJet, and few flights of around 400 odd flights of Indigo, which are operating throughout India. Otherwise, those numbers used to be like Indigo is to operate 1200 flights. They're just operating 400 flights throughout India. So overall, the scenario throughout India is quite bad. And Goa being tourist place, of course, it is the worst affected. So overall, the situation is quite bad, and there is a lot of negativity all around, and it is going to be a big challenge to when we restart the tourism industry back into Goa.
Yeah, thanks, Nilesh. Manoj, now Nilesh has been talking specifically about traveling and about the hotel industry, service industry. Now, what about the rest of the business? Pharma, which is there, everything, manufacturing, construction, retail. What is the situation? What is the scene?
Okay, Glenn, I fully agree with Nilesh when he says that the sentiments are very, very negative and very bad. Let's take it segment wise. In Goa, we have a manufacturing sector predominantly dominated by pharma. As far as pharma is concerned, it has not been hit most of the times, and it has been running smoothly. Whereas the other small scale industries, whether in engineering or electronics or packaging, all these units, although they have been allowed to be open, are not doing any great business. Primarily because there are lockdowns in other parts of the country, which is affecting the supply chain, the availability of raw materials or delivery of finished goods. So the manufacturing sector, besides pharma and probably to some extent telecom, rest of it is hit, no doubt about it. If you talk about the retail sector, for almost last 3 weeks odd, retail sector has been closed, except for retail of essentials like grocery shops and pharmacies. Rest everything has been closed, whether it is a small shop or a big hyper markets, garment shops, jewelry shops, small retailers selling consumer goods, white goods, everything has been shut. So there is a huge setback for the retail sector. Take the case of F&B, that is restaurants and bars. They are all closed. Although government has allowed takeaway, this takeaway concept is not something which can sustain a restaurant. So most of the restaurants have chosen to shut down their operations. More bars as it is are not allowed to be opened, so they are closed. So you talk about the markets. In all the cities, there are municipal markets or corporation markets or village markets. Those small shop owners who were, self-employed people, their outlets are closed. So overall, it is a very gloomy situation. Unfortunately, government had to take this stand. And in the bargain, what happened is that only the retail sector suffered the most because they were the only ones who were asked to be shut. Industries were allowed to be open. Fine, no problem. But despite doing this, did it help? Now what is happening is we are looking at more than 2 weeks of closure of these people. There is no livelihood for these people, and yet we are not finding cases going below 1500 per day. For a state like Goa, it is a worrisome thing, because if you see in other places like Mumbai or Delhi, when they locked down, the businesses suffered, no doubt about it, but it helped to bring down the cases. 2 or 3 weeks, we are suffering, the businesses are suffering because of closure, but unfortunately the cases and infections are not going down. So what is going wrong where? I think the government has to do some introspection and nip it in the bud as to where does the problem lies. Probably problem will not get solved by closing partial businesses. So there has to be some other solution to this.
Absolutely. Manoj, one sector you have not touched, construction, because there are a lot of people are coming into Goa. They want plots, they want bungalows, they want villas, rentals. Yeah, Manoj.
You know what happened, Glenn, is that during the lockdown last year, Goa became a sort of a sunshine territory. People from all over India wanted to come and settle in Goa at least temporarily, if not long time, just for work from home. So they bought places or they rented places. So that is why there was a boom to acquire places, either rented or outright, till the month of about December or January. However, when the second wave hit, as Nilesh has said earlier, Goa got such a bad name and a bad reputation and a bad management of the crisis. The reputation spread so fast, it has hit the real estate sector very badly. The information that I get from my real estate industry colleagues is that the demand for housing has gone down drastically in the last 2 months. Drastically it has gone down. People are not buying housing. There are a lot of projects which were planned to be sold to so-called outsiders. They are not getting sold. Similarly, the requirement of rented premises has also gone down. Of course, to further the problem, we also have an issue of manpower over here, because a lot of migrant laborers went away from Goa. So that is also affecting the pace of the construction industry. But I don't think anybody is complaining, because the demand for housing has definitely gone down.
Yeah. Thanks, Manoj. Nilesh, now we are aware of this. Okay, many of these things. Though I'm not in agreement with you about media giving. The government doesn't need the media to give it a bad name, Nilesh. It's doing it on its own. Sorry to disagree with you on that point. Okay, now jokes aside, what I'm saying is, what is the way forward, which is important now? I don't know, maybe the lockdown, whatever you call it, the curfew will get over in a few days, or it may be extended, whatever the case may be. Ultimately, one day it has to close. So what is the way forward?
According to me, we have to learn our lessons, and we'll have to have a very calibrated approach, in the sense that there are 5 things which we need to do. On priority, we have to see that people working across and I speak to on tourism sector, people working across hospitality sector should be vaccinated on top priority. Because one thing we have to understand, that we have to bring in the confidence back, not only the people who are working, but even the customer who are going to come. So if we when we open, when we say that all our people are vaccinated which are serving you, I think it can go a long way in the reviving the tourism industry. Secondly, when we open back, the fourth thing which we'll have to follow, one is, of course, RT-PCR test should be the must. The people who are coming into Goa have to have RT-PCR test. If not, they should be tested at the entry point with the rapid test, and which should not be cost not more than between 300 to 500, and it should not be handled by government. They should privatize it. I'm sure there will be private agency pathological companies will be interested in that. So all three entry points, maybe the rail, airport, and road, the test can be done. People are not bringing the RT-PCR test. Thirdly, if you are vaccinated, then they should be allowed on the vaccine passport to show you how you are vaccinated, and that will go a long way in people getting vaccinated also, because there is we find a lot of challenge in people are not ready to get themselves vaccinated for whatever reason, we don't know. Like Goa statistics, we take it till now, 45 and above, just 60% of the population is vaccinated. So that means 40% people are still not vaccinated, which is very scary. So even if they have to travel anywhere in India, I think this norm should be like if you have a vaccine passport or you are vaccinated, you should be allowed. And fourthly, if you are having a antibody certificate, then if you have got COVID and if you have got antibody certificate, you should be allowed. I think with this type of strategy can go a long way into getting back the confidence into the Goa. Besides, of
Yes,
course, will
absolutely.
require a lot of help from the government, from the what do you call? Because right now, paying your team and the organization is going to be very difficult. The renewal of the licenses, which we have been talking last year, also we have not got it. So this year also is going to be the same thing. There should be auto renewable. There should not be charges on that, like garbage tax or municipality tax or panchayat tax. Then there should be excise. There should be relief on the excise duty. There has to be direct incentive to the people who are working, because it is last year what had happened that people had their savings, so they have supported their team in the different organization. But now people have dried up with whatever savings they had or whatever schemes they had. You cannot survive on borrowings. Again, banks are going to, if your accounts are good, they are giving you the further loans or whatever XYZ. But how long you can survive with the borrowing with not looking the future, not looking very optimistic.
Absolutely.
So I think government will have to some way or other support the people working in the industry besides the people who are running the industry. So both ways will require a lot of help. And for revival, as I said, this 5 points is very going to be go a long way into bringing back the confidence into Goa.
Yes, thanks, Nilesh. Now, it looks like earlier when you go to Bombay, Delhi, when you want to check into a hotel, you need Aadhaar card. Now you need vaccine passport. Yeah, Manoj, I want to move a little more into construction and real estate, because in many areas like construction, real estate, and affiliated, like for example your UPS generators and where. So don't you think that this break, so as to say, in everything, this break has would allow the government to sort out lots of the problems that were faced by industry? So right now there is no business. So besides the people in the health sector, health industry, rest of the government bureaucrats and all are doing absolutely nothing. Either they are sitting at home and working from home, what I don't know, or they are coming to. So maybe they should. Don't you think this is an opportunity? Don't you all want things to fall in place, to be streamlined, to be smooth? I want to go back to Nilesh on that later, but first you, Nisha.
Vaccination, RT-PCR at borders are important. That has to happen parallelly. But what is, I think, more important is now that all the businesses, irrespective of what sector you are, they have to cut their cloth as per the size. As Nilesh said, everybody's savings have dried up. Whether you are in business, whether you are a salaried person, whether you are a professional, I think all our earnings have gone down or earnings have stopped. We have to understand one thing, that we will have to revisit and realign whether it comes to our lifestyle, whether it comes to our liabilities, whether it is the businesses that we run or whether it is the jobs that we do. Let us not run away from reality, because trust me, government is running away from reality, and government is not taking care of us. And I will not mince around with words. I will give you a simple example. Tell me one thing. Last time we had a so-called lockdown, a national lockdown, because of which the central government had to give some sort of a relief, whether by way of financial institutions, RBI, banks, whatever. Now this time, is there a lockdown by the central government? There is no lockdown by the central government. So they are within their right not to give any relief, because no government at the center, no department is talking about giving any relief to anybody. So are they hiding behind words over here? I did not do a lockdown. Kejriwal did, Sawant did, and Uddhav Thackeray did, or Mamta did. They did it in their states. So what can I do at the center? Is this the stand that the government is taking? Because there doesn't seem to be any relief coming from the central government across sectors. Nor is anybody talking about any relief. Number one. Number two, let us talk about the states. Like Nilesh said, we have been asking for n number of reliefs. We are banging our heads literally. Nilesh will agree, asking for relief for retailers, for industry, whatever. Nobody is listening. Nobody is giving any answers. That is to answer a question, Glenn, what are these bureaucrats doing?
Exactly. That's my point. Exactly.
So are you not supposed to take care of the trade and the industry in your area, in your state? You go and ask them, nobody, they just take representation, they just listen to you, but no relief is coming. And I think with this kind of a deaf and dumb game that the government is playing, they are going to crush the industry, they are going to finish the businesses in Goa, whether it is tourism, whether it is retail, whether it is F&B and all these kind of things. So without mincing words, I think what is important is that government has to take and help the business head on now. It can't say we will think about it. Time is gone, savings are over. Otherwise, employers will not be able to pay salaries to their staff. And once salary stops, there will be anarchy. People will come on the road.
Yeah, because Manoj, the thing is that the government has to understand ultimately. I think on this show also we've repeated this 2-3 times. I have at least, because without industry there is no money. How is the government going to get money if industry doesn't have money? From where is it going to get? Who's going to pay the taxes? Like I pay a tax if I get a salary. You pay tax if you're going to make business. You're going to make profits. How will the government get any money? It is not possible. Absolutely. Now Nilesh, before you go into the next this, I want to ask you one thing. Now specifics, very specifics. We have been speaking about the taxis and we've been speaking about a lot of tourism infrastructure. Now where is that reached now?
Basically, as you are aware, the Honorable High Court last time, in fact, we had filed third contempt against Goa government.
That we are aware of. After that,
so the result was in last thing they said there was nodal officer expired. So from the people who are implementing, from the taxi driver side, from the taxi meter side, so they wanted time. So Honorable High Court said that cannot be pray for his soul, but that cannot be excuse for not implementing. So what they said that in next 15 days you have to start, and they have 14th June is again date, wherein the court is going to review that how many taxi meters have been fixed, because the court is very clear that and what we have requested the Honorable High Court that it has to be under the supervision of the judge, Honorable Judge, for the court to be implementation of the meter. Because what is happening every time, you are doing dilly-dallying and you are for some or other reason, you are postponing the implementation of the meters. So basically this time we are hopefully, because there is a court monitored implementation of the taxi meters. So hopefully that should come forth. Now, one of the excuses which the taxi drivers have put in that, the rates have not been revised. So we have given our study along with other associations also have given the study that our rates in Goa are quite high. And we have actually done scientific study when we have given our suggestion with the other state comparison charts also, which states that if you take the type of the vehicle, means the vehicle cost, the fuel cost, maintenance style, everything you put into and you derive at the rate. And even I made the comment that the taxi drivers have to change their business model. Of course, app-based taxis, all those things is fine. Like in Mumbai, if you go to see, the same taxi is run by 3 people or at least by 2 people. So it is on the road throughout. Even these bus operations which are happening, the idea is it has to be on road to make money. So the taxi, if you have 8 hours duty or 10 hours duty, they'll have to have drivers who will going to run those vehicles to reduce their cost and earn the earning.
Okay, now this is a question which is open to both of you all, Nilesh and Manoj, starting with Manoj. Now, what type of business you think will succeed now under these things, at least for a push? So what type and what you feel the government should do to start it off, because not everything is going to work now. See, tourism, restaurants we have to eat, retail people have to go out and buy. What type you feel and what you want from the government for it to move?
Glenn, what type of business will do well if only anybody could predict that? Nobody can know post this second wave, and now with the prediction of the third wave coming in, expected in September, October, I don't think even Nostradamus would have turned around in bed to predict as to which businesses will run. But one thing is for sure, people will have to change the way they are doing the business. Whether you are in retail or you are in manufacturing or you are in construction or you are in F&B business, service industry, wherever you are, you will have to change the way you have been doing business. Everybody will have to cut the flab, be very lean, and take it as it comes on day-to-day basis or week-to-week basis. Gone are the days, at least as of now, when you could do your projections. There is a Japanese style of very systematic working where you do kaizans and you do this planning, that planning, this forecast, that forecast. I think all gone are those days, all the planning that you have done. And this is unpredictable. So at least for the next year and a half, people will have to throw away all these long-term plans and take it as it comes. Because what is important is that everybody who are in business, professionals or in service, it's time that you have to conserve yourself, conserve your resources, whether it's your savings, whether it's your expenses. You'll have to conserve yourself, tide away this next 12 to 15 months, and then see what are the opportunities available at that point of time. I think at least to start with, it will be 12 to 15 months. As far as government is concerned, this is the time that government has to do hand holding. Forget all your long-term plans, forget the doles. What is important is that you have to survive the economy, because as you said earlier, if the businesses do not run, government does not get any revenues. And government does not get revenues, how are you going to pay your salaries? Now what is happening is that government is, rather than helping and addressing the issue, finding the easy way out, they are going on borrowing and taking loans in order to meet their salary expenses. This is happening month over month. Now see, you and me in our businesses, we don't have that capacity. Banks will not go to give us loans because our businesses are not working. Whereas government is going on getting loans to pay their salaries. Now which financer or which bank will give me loan to pay salaries, especially when I don't have a business income? So I think government needs to address this and help the economy, whether it's a small businessman or a big industry. Everybody are sailing in the same boat. We are at the fag end to exhaust our savings. We are at a fag end to exhaust all our reserves and surplus. Now it is the time government has to step in. Otherwise, you be prepared for a mass closure of businesses and mass job losses, which will happen in the next 3 to 6 months.
Okay, I agree with Manoj totally. First thing what we require, main thing is hand-holding from the government, because it is going to be impossible for any one of us to survive if we don't get the support. Because what will happen is, I will start people working in having the entrepreneurs working in the across all the segments, people will start cutting on their staff. Because if how long you can go on paying the
Yes.
salary? Because I was just talking to the few hoteliers. This is if things don't improve, they may give up to salary, whatever percentage of salary in month of May. But let June come in, they will have no money. So they will either tell them to take leave without pay and sit at home. And last year also they had the same situation. So again, it's going to be the same position. Last year they had some savings to pay off. So this year we don't have that. Again, there are no how far government is going to give you loans. Is not loans are not the solution. So government will have to do hand holding, and they will have to work out some strategy wherein they can pay to the people who are working with us some way or other. Some part of minimum some wages. Because unless they give hand holding, we cannot survive. And if we don't survive, the people working under cannot. There will be a job losses.
This was Nilesh Shah from TTAG and Manoj Kakula from GCCI. We were discussing about the situation in the business situation in the state. Very grim, I must say. Thanks for watching and keep watching Goa 365.